Hey, Gospel Community Leaders, we are in week 6 of our Esther series. Actually, this is our fifth sermon in the Esther series, and so we are super excited about where we went yesterday. And so hopefully that podcast will be up soon. If you haven't heard it yet, if you weren't able to be there for the sermon, but it was super powerful. Again, the main thing being that God calls us to risk to make a difference in the advancement of His kingdom. So God calls us to risk to make a difference in the advancement of His kingdom. However, we won't take those risks. We won't seize those opportunities to be involved in the advancement of His kingdom until we truly trust His power to make a difference. And so that's what the main thing was from Sunday. And then where we're headed with these gospel community questions, this is important. I kind of want to sum this up so that they can all tie together in the same direction. We want to be broken individuals. We want to be a group at Redemption Church, within our gospel community group specifically, of broken individuals. Blameless before God. Individuals who God is going to use, who God's going to pour His support out on and use in the advancement of His kingdom. That we would be deeply broken, deeply willing to be used by God in the type of individuals. And that we'd be broken for our own sin. We'd be repentant in our own sin, and that God would use us, and that we'd be broken for the world around us. To evangelize and to get out and to engage people with the power of the gospel. And so that's where we're headed. So there's no special announcements this week, so you don't need to be concerned about that. Again, 4 questions. Again, the first one is not required. This is just, I call it first things first. It becomes an opportunity to do something Bible study-esque at the beginning of the question set. Again, if you don't have time to do all 4, then please kill number 1. We believe that personal, community, and missional are our most important things to emphasize. However, if you have the time and you're looking for a little bit extra, then question 1 there is just to read through the passage, the main text from the sermon, and to talk about anything that stood out with the individuals in your group from that passage. Okay, so when we get into our personal question, please, before you talk through this question, read Hebrews chapter 11 and be prepared to discuss those individuals, because the question part of the question is around what are the character traits of the individuals, what are the character traits we see in the individuals that God is using in His plan to advance His kingdom, that we see spelled out throughout the whole Scriptures, but specifically in Hebrews chapter 11. So read that through and be thinking through, what do I see in Moses here? What do I see in these folks? Again, these are all God-given character traits, obviously, and God often changes these people to be like that, even though they aren't before. But what are these character traits that are being revealed in these people, so that you're ready to discuss that part. With question 2, this is about community, and it's going to be a quote that's from the sermon that Josh gave us, and so you're going to address that quote, and then you're going to read 2 Chronicles 16:9, that God's eyes search to and fro throughout the earth, seeking to support those whose hearts are blameless before Him. So we're going to ask, what does it look like for us to be a pocket of people who are blameless before God, onto whom God is pouring out His support and His power for life change and for the advancement of His kingdom? But God has to be the one to pull it off. So make sure that is at the center of question 3, that God is the one that is pulling these things off, and so that's the main part of the discussion, because we're going to end praying that God would pull that off in us. With question 4, again, we're getting back to the missional aspect here. If we want to be gospel community groups that are on mission, so you're going to reference Appendix B and judge what phase 1 through 4 your group is in on getting on mission, and then you're going to take the appropriate action from there. Whether you're in phase 1 or 4, please try to incorporate the question that's listed in red in the study guide. Please try to incorporate that into your discussion that's appropriate to whatever phase you're in. If you need help doing that, just let me know, I'd love to help you with that. All right, so that's everything for this week. Those are our questions. There's also an extra question on there. Again, if you have time, again, make sure you ask the personal, community, and the missional questions. Those are the ones we want to hit. If you have extra time, then you can hit question 1, first things first, kind of read through the passage and talk about it as a group. And you can hit this extra question as well if you have time for that. Again, as group to group, however you see best. So praying for you guys this week. If you need anything at all, let me know, and hoping to hear of God doing amazing things in our groups through this discussion. So let's go out there. Let's really just take hold of this truth and ask God to just deeply impress it upon our hearts, that we would deeply desire passionately to be a people who are blameless before God, desperate for Him to pour out His power on us so that we might advance His kingdom. We'll never advance His kingdom on our own, but that we would be a people that He looks at and that He grabs hold of and changes us into blameless individuals, deeply desperate for Him to pour out His power on us, and that in the wake of that, we would see deep change in our corporate gatherings, we would see deep change in our gospel community groups, and we would see deep change in our tri-state area as we proclaim the gospel and as we exemplify the gospel with our very lives, and that people will be saved, and that people within our group will be deeply encouraged and even more deeply rooted in the gospel, and it'll all be the work of God. Okay? We want that so bad. That's what I'm praying for. That's what you can be praying for as you prepare to lead your group this week. All right, love you guys. Thank you so much. You all have a great week.